YouTube. Welcome to another car video. It's been a while since I've made a video. It's not that I haven't done work on vehicles, but I've been doing work in very crunch times, so I really didn't have the opportunity to set up the cameras and try and video this thing. I think in some of my older videos I share with you that primarily I just want to fix the car. But if I can contribute to the body of work so that someone coming to the same junction sometime in the future will be able to use my videos and assist, but not all the times I'm able to do that. Today's job is to replace the rear wheel bearing. It's technically the hub assembly, because we're not really replacing the bearing itself. When you're replacing a bearing itself, you're kind of pressing in and out the bearing, but this is the hub assembly. So it has the bearing inside and also has the hub with the studs that you put the wheel on. I've attempted this fix before. This is going to be my third attempt because that thing is stuck on. I'll share with you when I get to that point the problems, but just to let you know, sometimes we're doing mechanic work. Your challenge is not going to be replacing the part. Sometimes the challenge is just getting the old part off, and especially when you're working on vehicles that are in the snow belt of the US that has to go through salt on the roads in the winters. Yeah, it gets bad. It gets really bad. But as you do work cautiously and always be mindful of the point of no return. So I've attempted this twice before, but at no point in time did I go beyond the point of no return. So I tried to barely cut here, cut there, put a little heat here, bang on it a little bit. But even as I banged on it, I didn't bang on it to destroy it. Even as I cut, I didn't cut to destroy it. So yeah, that's it. Let me see if I can switch cameras. Can you switch cameras while you are recording? I can't, so I'm going to pause here and then get to what we're doing. Let's go pause. Alright, so we're going to replace the hub assembly as I mentioned. This is what the new hub assembly looks like. At the back here is the ABS sensor. There's a little connector on the car that you're going to take off. Can I set this camera down? Little connector on the car that you're going to take off. Here is exactly how it's already on the car right now. So once you get this wheel off, this is what you'll be faced with. Now, because of years of road salt, this little section here, after you get this 4 bolts out, it's only 4 bolts. After you get them out, it's still stuck on. It's like it's welded on. I kid you not. So whenever I finally get this off, I will put anti-seize here. There's a little bit of anti-seize around here, so that the person that does this work after me, if this car runs for another 100 and something thousand miles and they have to change this again, they won't have the same challenge I have. So have a little bit of anti-seize, which I'll be using. Permatex, just a little bit is what you need. Anytime you do work on your car, make sure it's on jack stands, and I also have the front wheels chalked up. So that's it. I'll be using this 10-point sledgehammer thing that I bought, in addition to this set that I bought on Amazon. There you go. Now you can rent these from AutoZone. I had rented one from AutoZone. It only came with where does this go? Stay there. It only came with this piece, and this piece was a little bit too big for the Prius. At least I haven't tested this one on the car, but the one I got from AutoZone only had this. and it was a little bit too big, so I had to remove one of the lug studs, and I tried to connect it just by these two. It didn't have a bottom brace, and maybe that was part of the issue why I couldn't get it. This one is slightly smaller, so I'm sure this time I should have one that works. This I think is a 5-pound hammer. This is a 10-pound. One of these are going to come take it off. Hopefully. I'm going to use a lot of you call it penetrating fluid, bang at it a little bit with a sledgehammer, do all of that and try and make sure I get it off. Alright, let's get this running. Alright, so I already loosened up these bolts, these lug nuts, when I was on the floor. Because not everyone have a power tool, so make sure you do that. You can use the regular lug nut that you get with it, lug tool that you get with the car, or you just find the right socket for it. This is a 21, some Hondas are 19s, should be somewhere between 19s and 21. I don't think you have smaller than that, I'm not sure. Crap. You are not. I feel like this is. Oh my goodness. You have to do that another time. Oh my goodness, it's losing power. Crap, I forgot to release the handbrake. That I'm sure I did not do. I like to put tires underneath the cars when I take them off. Ooh. Release the handbrake. I'm going to release the parking brake. Alright, so I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Let's pull this down. Alright, you won't be able to hear that just yet. Let me continue taking these things off. To remember what this was. I think that was a 14. Could be wrong. I think this was a 14. It is a 14. Has a little rock in it, but Whenever you put something on, just test it just to make sure that the smaller one doesn't fit. Yep. Alright. Yeah, this video is not going to be the best, but I'm going to do my best, man. Sorry about that. It's on off, it's on off. See, this is just not getting that nice little fit. Not getting that nice fit. Okay, so what did I just pull? I pulled the two bolts that are holding on the piston or the caliper. Yeah, holding on the caliper. Getting those out. Completely out. Alright, these are out. Now, you don't hang your caliper on the brake line here, but the Prius has a parking brake cable underneath that holds much of the weight. So there's not much strain on this brake line. Otherwise, I would have used like some bungee cords and tie it up so that there's no strain here. Alright, good. Now, gonna get these two bolts. I'm not sure if you can see those. Can you see anything here? I don't know. See, it's so hard. See this bolt here? That's the next one I'm going to take, and there's one below it. Those hold on the caliper bracket. That's the next step. Alright. Again, bear with me. I'm more concerned about fixing my car than giving you a video. Forgive me. Alright. And those are 14s as well. Oh, this is a 2010 Prius. Did I say that? I'll probably put it in the description. I'm still on off. Yes, I am. Got that one loose. To get the one below. Yeah. Just in case you're brand new do-it-yourselfer, you should know that a longer handle gives you more torque. So if you're using a ratchet handle let's say short, can you see these? You don't have as much torque as a longer one. So if you only have a set that has this and something is giving you trouble, get a breaker bar on it or a little pipe put this on, get a longer handle, gives you a lot more torque. Just a tip. Moving on. So I'm unscrewing these, and you can see the bracket becoming loose. Get it almost out, and then I get this one almost out too. Alright, so now you have your caliper bracket with the disc pads out. A little backing plate just fell off the disc pad. I'll put that on and it's time to put this back on. No issues here. Put this over here. No issues there. Bolts go there. This is your router. Sure you know that. Get this out of the way. I'm going to put this. Let's put it here. Now you see the hub. See? Now whenever you get a part, as best as possible, before you start banging on your thing to take it off, just compare and make sure you have the right part, please. There you go. Count whatever you can count, same lugs, studs. Put it as close to it, make sure it looks like it's the same. Put it this way, I always do that, just to make sure. And usually they give you the right part because you gave them the VIN number, you gave them the year, the model, blah blah blah. But just in case. Now, let's see if you can hear. Oh, you know this thing is bad. Look at this. Hear that? Shh. Look at that. First of all, it's supposed to turn easily. But listen to it. Done. Done, 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 done. As a Jamaican, I'd say, yo, it done. As in, it's ready to be changed, man. It's ready to be replaced. Alright. Now, get these off. I think these are also 14s. To get those off, you put, I have longer studs. These are impacts. Push it right through here. You just kind of turn the hub so that it gives you that nice space. See? And there you go. Then you put this on this here. And you make sure you crack it. Forgive me for walking in front of the camera again. Holy crap. You are joking with me, huh? Holy crap, you are joking with me, aren't you? This little joint just doesn't seem like, look at that. I was just saying the joint doesn't seem like it's going to hold the strain. And I was right. It's a good thing I stopped. What happened to the... Holy crap. Ugh. Alright. I just broke this head. I just barely put it on and I said this doesn't seem like it's going to hold it. And I was so right. Something fell out. Harbor Freight tools. It's not bad. I just need to find whatever the thing that was a screw that was in here. It looks like. I don't know when it fell out. But moving on. I'll sort this out later. If not, I can go to Home Depot and find a nice screw that can go in here. Man, seriously, when did this fall out? Anyways, go back to my other. Oh, sorry about that again. I have no clue when that fell out. I have absolutely no clue. Alright, I'm getting distracted. Keep moving. Keep moving. Sorry about this. Keep moving, man. Keep moving. Keep moving. Keep moving. This is lock. This is unlock. Okay. So now you get to see what I was telling you about using a great cover handle, because my longer socket just got busted. Give it a few turns. And that's good. Now if I was locking this, I would do it in a crisscross pattern. But because I'm unlocking, who cares? If I was tightening, crisscross pattern, but I'm not tightening, so I'm actually loosening, so that's fine. Can you see here? I think I got it. Alright. That being said, let's see if this has enough strength to get this off. Let's see if this has enough strength to get this off now. Alright, now we have loosened the 4 bolts that hold this thing in. Just for a recap, see this? That's the 4 bolts we just loosened. And if you notice, it has a specific way. Notice the top piece shapes different from the bottom piece shaped different from the top. I'm pretty sure they make it in a way that you can't do it the wrong way, but that's that. The clip is at the top. So now I'm going to remove the connector and try and bang it off. Let me pause the video here. Continuing. Okay, so there's my other glove. I would have it on. Off camera, I found the piece that fell out of my ratchet handle. It's still a firm thing, but the screw fell out. This was bought at Harbor Freight. I finally found it. It's on the floor in the garage. Screwed it back in. There's a little lock washer behind here. I put that in, and I put some Loctite here in there, so it should be good. Back to this thing here. Couple of rocks into that. Trying to get that out, man. You don't want to breathe it in this thing. So you can see how hard this thing is, eh? This is a 10-pound sledge. The 10-pound sledge. It doesn't look like it's budging. Refuses to budge. No joke, YouTube. No joke. YouTube, it's off. Man, after all that banging that you saw, I paused. I'm sorry you missed the moment when it fell. As I told you, I'm about fixing my car, not really about making videos. So I had to pause for a while. I went at it again with a chisel and just barely tapped in between here with my sledge, because I didn't realize, but with all the banging, even though it looks like it wasn't moving, it was actually slightly pulling apart. So I saw just a little crack, slight crack, and I sprayed some more penetrating fluid, banged at it some more, then went with the chisel and the sledge, and then just bang at it, bang at it, bang at it until it came out. Now, having said that, I highly recommend this. So this set that I'm using is the OTC set, right? I use OTC because a lot of people recommended it. Don't watch the tape on it. I put the tape over here because this is paper, and it seems to be like the only little, there's no instruction in it. So I know after a while it's going to get dirty and all that, so I just kind of taped it over for now. Nothing. Both tools together, that's the set along with the additional 10-pound hammer. The 10-pound hammer, this is it here. Oh, crap, can you see it? Came separate. You have to buy it separately. But together, I paid about $188 on Amazon for both, right? When I got an estimate for this job, each side would cost me $180 plus tax. So by being able to take off one side and complete this job, I've already made a return on my investment. Just like that. Now, I'm not going to waste your time with talking to you about finance. But one of the reasons why I try and fix things myself is if I take a car to a shop, it's an expense to me. That money is gone, it's lost, I can no longer recover it. If I take the extra effort and I do it myself, what I've done is I've moved funds from cash on my personal balance sheet and invested it into tools. So it's not technically an expense, it's an investment because I still own the tools. I spent the cash, moved from my cash, invest it in tools, I still own the tools. If I take it to a shop, I spend the cash, it's an expense, that's it, that's lost to me. I do it myself, I buy the tool, I own the tool. Every job that I do additionally with this tool is profit to me. So I'm going to finish this side, that's a break even. When I do the other side, it's a profit. Because we would have to have spent, well, technically my wife, because it's her car, we both would have to have spent $180 plus tax for this side, and then $180 plus tax for the other side. So for all you do-it-yourselfers, there's that added benefit. Now let's say in the future, 10 years from now, I'm no longer going to do any mechanic work. I can give these away free. Or even if I sell it for a very small amount, I still haven't lost anything. Alright, got it. So that's that. The installation is just going to be the reverse of the pulling off. I started cleaning it up here. I used some degreaser and I'm using a little sandpaper, trying to get off all the grit that I can. I mentioned to you that I am going to put anti-seize here and then put up torque into specs. That's a good question. I don't know what the torque spec is. I'm going to Google. But because the lug nuts are generally 80 foot-pounds, I'm probably going to torque this thing at a minimum up to 80. Unless I find something on Google that tells me differently. At a minimum I'm going to torque this to about 80 minimum. But let's see. If I Google it and I find the correct torque specs, I'll put it in the description as well. If I don't find a correct torque spec, as I tell you, I'm going to crank that up to at least 80 foot-pounds. Alright, so that's it YouTube. I don't think I'm going to keep this camera running because I want to hurry and get through the other side. Maybe when I do the other side, I'll probably try and keep the video running so maybe you see the moment when it comes off. Alright, this is the backing plate. You need to put it on. You notice that you see this cuts here? This is what I was telling you. I tried to get this off twice before, couldn't get it off. So I was actually trying to cut away and I realized that I was more destroying this rather than getting into it. So I stopped before I reached the point of no return. I was telling you about that at the start of the video. You could see the slight cut mark here. Not much, but that's it. Alright. See you YouTube. Unless you wanna be bored and watch the rest.